Hello everyone, this is Shayan Siddiqui with you, an expert business and economics teacher, an educationalist and a professional corporate trainer. Welcome to my channel. In this lecture, I'm going to discuss with you the roles of management or a manager presented by Charles Handy. And the lecture is going to be in English language. If you want to watch the same lecture in Urdu language, just click on this link. This link will lead you to my Urdu language video for the same topic, roles of management or a manager by Charles Handy. So without further delay, here we go. Welcome back. And these are the three main roles of management or the manager which have been identified or presented by Charles Handy. Charles Handy was a management scientist and he was born in 1932. Now, let's go in the depth of it. The first one is managers as general practitioners. This is the first role which was presented by Charles Handy. The second one is managers as confronters of dilemma. Dilemma means difficulty, big problems, and managers are the one who confront with big problems or the serious difficulties. The third one is managers as balanced cultural mixers or mixers and something. So now let's move over the first one, which is managers as general practitioners. Now, what exactly it is? He linked the personal health problems with the well-being of the firm, such as the level of staff turnover, productivity issues, and customer satisfaction. He linked everything with human health. Okay, if the organization is not feeling well, if not feeling healthy, then the managers must deal with these issues. Like he says, for example, if the staff is demotivated, if people are not working on their full potential, not giving their full output, that's a health problem, and that's normal as we basically face different health problems like fever, cough, or anything else. That was his idea and that was his linking, and that was amazing. For example, he says if low productivity is a concern, then managers must hire new people, and that makes sense. Like normally when we feel fever, when we are suffering from coughing or something, what do? We go to the doctor for the solution. That's what he said. If managers observe these things, these are basically the problems, these are the illnesses which the organization is going through. So he says that the solution of it is the job and responsibility of a manager. For example, the hiring and firing of staff, dismiss unproductive staff, that is basically the job. That's the solution, he said, that managers have to deal with. So I think the first role, which is managers as general practitioners, is clear, where he linked everything with the human health, and I discussed with you in details. Now let's move over the second one, which is managers as confronters of dilemma. Dilemma means difficulty, a big problem, a serious problem. And in dilemma, actually, he discussed three main areas. Dilemma of trust control that managers have to deal with. Dilemma of projected groups managers have to deal with. And the last one is dilemma of cultural mixes. These are the three dilemmas. But my question is, why are managers paid high salaries than others? Because Charles says that managers are paid high salaries because they have to continuously deal with different dilemmas or the serious problems. On some occasions, managers have to give up some authority or control when they delegate the work to others. Now, this is itself a dilemma. This is itself a risk, because when you are delegating the work to others, you are depending on someone, and dependency is itself a big risk that you have to deal with. So managers are continuously dealing with dilemmas. That's the reason they are paid high salaries. And normally students get this question. The students at the initial level, such as BBA or something, they get the questions, why are managers paid high salaries? And this is a perfect answer which I just gave you, because they are continuously dealing with different dilemmas. Whatever the decision they take, there is a risk involved in that. Even if they delegate the work to others, that's a serious risk. So basically they deal with dilemmas, problems, they take the risk. Managers are the one that they have huge responsibility on their shoulders of running an organization. That's the reason their salaries are higher than normal people. Okay, moving on. Let's go in depth. Now, the first dilemma which he identified is dilemma of trust control. What exactly it means? Delegate the work to subordinates and trust on them. Let's move in furthermore details of this dilemma of trust control. What does it mean by delegate the work to subordinates and trust on them? Managers have to delegate the work to others, or the subordinates. They have to trust on them to get the work done at expected level. Here the dilemma comes. Now, what the dilemma is, what the problem is, if the manager shows greater trust on their team or the subordinates, then they will lose control over the work. And if they want to retain the power to themselves, then it is a sign that they don't trust on their team. It's a lack of trust. So here they have to adopt a balanced approach. And that is itself a dilemma of trust control. Like how much work they should dedicate to others and how much control they should have in their hand, and how to win the trust of their team that yes, you trust on them, but you cannot trust on them. That is basically the dilemma that managers have to deal with. Let's move over the next one, which is commando leader or projected groups. Commando. I don't know whether you watched this movie or no, but I watched it in my childhood. Now, some workers basically prefer to work outside the normal bureaucratic organizational structures. What exactly it means by? Because in many organizations, some junior managers prefer to work in projected teams. Okay, projected teams with clear tasks and objectives. Now, this simply means that they really want to work outside the normal bureaucratic organizational structures. But in reality, there are uncountable number of projected groups which are called commando groups for the business. Now, basically, the dilemma is that managers have to decide how many projected or commando group they want in their business, in their organization, to satisfy the staff members and get the output, and to what extent the group should be given bureaucratic structure to remain in power, remain in structure. Because ultimately you cannot allow people who are working in your organization to take the organization so light and cross all the formalities of the organization and just create your own group. You cannot allow it. But if you do not allow 100%, like you make the organization extremely formal, this is also the serious problem, because people will start feeling like, oh man, this is just a very bureaucratic organization. We don't want to work over here because we don't have freedom. Now, somehow you have to allow some sort of commando groups there, but you have to keep the structure as bureaucratic as you can, and you have to keep the employees motivated. That is basically called commando leader or the projected group dilemma that businesses or the managers have to deal with. So basically, managers must decide the number of projected groups for the team satisfaction. And they have to be bureaucratic as well. And I think you know the meaning of bureaucracy, where a lot of formal paperwork, proper structure, organizational structures, procedures are followed. Let's move over the third dilemma, the dilemma of mixed cultures or cultural mixes. Promoted managers have to behave in different suitable ways. Now, what does it mean by? When managers are promoted or moved to other departments, they have to behave in the way whichever suits according to the new position. Fine. But managers should deal with long-term strategies, and they must delegate lower level tasks to middle managers. Now, imagine if the promoted manager maintains the culture that he used to be in when he was a junior level manager, for example. So he used to do a lot of works, or I think everything, by himself. If he continues working according to the same culture that he was in, then he may not be effective in the position, because obviously he has to delegate some work so that he can focus on the new task which he has to do at new position. This is basically the dilemma, because he was in a different culture. From that culture he is moving to another culture. It does not mean the whole organizational culture, but actually in one organization there are different types of culture: departmental culture, overall organizational culture, individual group cultures, and so on. So he's moving from one culture to another, and he has to adopt a new approach. So basically doing everything may result in ineffectiveness or inefficiency of managerial performance. So I think the dilemma of cultural mix, which was presented by Charles Handy, that is clear now. Alright, so let me give you the overall review of the topic which we have covered till now. Basically, Charles Handy believes that managers or leaders should rise above the situation to see the big picture of the organization. Rise above so that you can see the big picture of your organization or the clear picture of your organization. Unproductive management occurs when there is micromanaging culture in any organization. Micromanaging. Now, see the word micromanaging. What does it mean by? Micromanaging means when a senior level manager gets involved in junior level issues. Now, let me give you a real life example. Okay, let me give you a real life example here. A few years back, I was working in an organization and I was running that organization as head of academics. Interesting thing is, I used to sign on requisition forms and I sent a requisition form where we asked for pencils, rulers and rubbers and erasers, so on. I got a call from the director of the organization. She called me. Hello, Mr. Shayan. Mr. Shayan, I have received your requisition form, which is actually signed by you. Why do you need erasers? And I was shocked. I said, she's a director of the organization and I need 4 erasers for this section. Like, what rubbish is she talking about? I said, what? She said, why do you need erasers? I said, what is the point of you getting involved in these petty matters? Why do I need erasers? I need erasers because I'm running this section. Try to understand. I'm running my department. I need it. There is no justification that I need rubbers to erase something. That's my answer. I need rubbers because I need to erase. Oh no, this is what... Basically what happens, those directors were inefficient. Extremely or highly inefficient. So they were trying to micromanage the organization. They were getting involved in petty matters. And unfortunately, what happened, the strategic decisions that they had to take for their organization, they were not able to focus on that. So ultimately, the organization had to bear serious losses every year when I quit. Okay, so basically, managers get involved in petty matters. I just give you an example of the business. Instead of, they need to delegate that work to generalized and specialized people. Fine, if you have made someone an academic coordinator, let him deal with this headache. You don't have to get involved in these things just to deal with these issues. So this was my lecture on Charles Handy's functions or role of management. I hope you have understood this topic today, Roles of Management or a Manager by Charles Handy. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please do so. If you have already subscribed to it, thank you so much, but please refer my channel to others so that they can also learn from my videos. Thank you so much for watching.